can often be a hard life, or hill and dale to rove, and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary. 'Cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-too-da-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-too-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road.
The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid.
But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-too-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee. A fweet-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Adventures waiting further down the road.
Let's go!
Greetings, friends, and welcome to Gothic Horror Gaming. And I'm going to take off my sunglasses until I need them because it's hard to see. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Tonight we are brought to you by, I believe, Oh, I never remember these silly things. I know it is Ren Adventures, which is a wonderful opportunity to tour Italy and other awesome places, as led by our fearless leader, Paolo Garbanzo. So feel free to check out their information at some point. Um, Also, just so everyone's aware, this is where my husband is tonight, a literary feast with Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald from January 13th to 23rd at the Manatee Performing Arts Center. So if anyone's down in Florida and happens to want to go see them, they still have tickets available, and it's a super cool show. So welcome to Gothic Horror Gaming. I am running solo tonight, but I have our very capable Rev Tommy in the comments helping out with the Twitch streaming level of things. And I've had, some of you know, a pretty rough week. Unfortunately, my cat passed away yesterday through a an unexpected illness that took her faster than we thought. She was a very rageful kitty, but a very sweet kitty in the end. And if anyone wants to donate and you happen to know me on Facebook, I have a GoFundMe that's set up to help cover expenses because cremating a cat that's only 5 pounds is surprisingly expensive. But she would want it that way, and she will be joining my altar where I will continue to worship her forever, which is what she would have wanted for sure. Anyway, so welcome tonight to Gothic Horror Gaming. We are going to be featuring some scary, scary stuff today, so let's get that out of the way at the moment. This show may contain adult language. It may also contain gore, extreme violence, creatures of common phobias. We may have references to drug use and varying types of drug use. There may be references to specific religious organizations. There's a lot going on in this particular game. And a little bit different than what we've done in the past. This game is going to be set in June of 1978. I picked a very specific time and a very specific place, which you will all be introduced to shortly. But it feeds into a lot of really interesting, cool stuff. So I think that you will probably enjoy this. We are playing a game called Delta Green. Delta Green is a D100 based system. With the idea being that these characters are all from different walks of life and different experiences. They are banded together to fight evil and scary things. This is not a government-based organization, or at least not a specific government. Everyone has a different occupation or a different job that they do in real life, and then they have to make reasons for why they are coming to do these particular events, investigations, etc. And you in the comments can help them out. So check this out. All of these skills are D100 based. So let's say they are fighting an evil creature and they have, what did we say was an official weapon at this time period? I think like a Glock. Was a Glock 17 available? I'm trying to remember. This is the hard thing because I have to remember who has what. 22. There we go. A 22 revolver was available in 1978. So let's say someone has to use their firearm skill to fire their gun accurately at someone who is assailing them, like the evil Soviets. So in order to do that, they have to roll for their skill. General firearms might be a 40%. That means that you have a 40% chance of hitting your target at any given moment. If you want to help a character, you may feel free to throw your Twitch points at Rev Tommy, who will keep track of everything. And he will be able to he will be able to tell our players who has points available. They can use those points to give themselves kind of a bonus. So now, instead of rolling at a 40%, they're rolling at a 45%. So now they have to get underneath that skill in order to make their shot. You guys are always helping to make things a little bit easier, which is pretty cool. They're going to need your help, especially in the 1970s. That is the biggest thing I'm going to try my best to keep in mind. I know some of you in the comments were around in the 1970s, so feel free to call me out if there's something that they couldn't possibly be doing. Like if they're researching something, they can't use a cell phone or the internet. They have to go to a public library, public houses of records, things like that. So things are going to be a little bit more complicated. If they wanted to call someone, they would have to use a payphone, which apparently only cost 10 cents at the time. So not super bad, but things. That all being said, I think it is time now to potentially meet all of our players as we go through stuff. So let's start to bring people on board. And let me change my banner so things are fun. This show may contain adult language. Hopefully it won't be just a bucket of swearing, but it is 10 p.m. on the East Coast, so keep that in mind. Oh yeah, Salier, they could use bulletin boards. Good point. Boop. Haha. Anyway, let's bring in our first guest, Ms. Darla Day. Greetings, Darla.
Z.
So where do you hail from, and what is your occupation?
I am based in New York currently. I am an intelligence procurement specialist and derailment engineer for the CIA.
Derailment engineer. That sounds interesting. What's that about?
Well, you know how if you were to work construction and you needed to build a building and there was something already there, how they would bring in a demolition crew that would take out the existing structure. Um, I do that, but not with structures.
Oh. Oh, that's fun. Oh, I can't wait to play with that. Yay.
That's what the derailment engineering is.
Looking forward to that. All right. So, do you remember like your first contact with Delta Green? Did you have a particular moment in your life where you encountered something unexplained or unnatural?
Um, I've been on a few Delta Green assignments. I haven't seen that much that's completely unnatural. I've seen a few things that I the explanation was dodgy, but asking questions isn't in my job description, so I point and click when I need to.
Fair enough. Or I guess, yeah, maybe you can point and click.
Point, click.
Oh, haha. Good idea. All right. So Darla, you get a call at your desk one day in New York. It's from a long distance number. You don't recognize it. It is seemingly coming from the UK or routed through the UK. You're not sure.
Hmm.
And a very brief message says, "I need you to meet me in New York. This is business. You know what to do." And then it clicks off and kind of gives you a weird sort of Morse code that you
Ooh.
would take to mean you need to meet this entity in Chicago.
All right. Well, I take my credit card that I've had for 4 years now, and
Yes. True.
I book a flight to Beantown.
Cool. All right. Hold tight while we introduce our next person. This is Sophie McCoy.
Well, hello there.
I forgot you're Southern. Where are you from, Sophie, and what do you do?
Well, right now I am out of Fairfield, Connecticut, and I work for General Electric. I am one of very few women who are currently working there in their science department. Not too many women, obviously, so we really have to represent. But I am, of course, here from originally northern Florida.
Northern Florida. That is an authentic North Florida accent, if ever I have heard one. That's so much fun. Cool. And what did you do? What did you say you did for a living?
I work with General Electric.
Okay. Anything specific? Any particular organization or
Well, I
realm
cannot
of
really
expertise?
speak about a whole lot of what we do, but let's just say that there is a whole lot of interest in what CERN's working on right now with their super proton synchrotron over in Europe.
Ooh. Ooh, that's very exciting. I swear to God, eventually I'll stop being a very excited girl. So Sophie
Woman.
and
You're a woman.
woman, sorry. Sophie, you are walking home from work one day, and you pass by a phone booth that you've seen dozens of times. And maybe it's while you're out getting lunch or something. And it seems that every time you've walked by that phone for the last week, it rings. But then as you leave it, it stops ringing. And for whatever reason, you're compelled to pick it up this time. You go into the phone booth and you hear a very crisp British voice say, "The organization needs you in Chicago. I'll send you the coordinates." And then it just clicks off. And when you get home that day, you see in your mailbox, there is an unmarked white envelope with a list of coordinates already. And you determine from that information, probably cross-checking at a library, that you are booked to go to Chicago, or you need to go to Chicago, rather.
Well, I guess I'm heading to the middle of the country then.
Is there anything that you would tell your bosses about why you would be leaving? Because they're not in the know.
Well, no, but there are a few things. We do have an office in Chicago right now. They are working on an interval timer clock that's based off some x-rays. So I'm sure I could get on that very quickly as a consultant.
Very nice. Excellent. All right. And our final person joining us today is a friend named Candy. Candy, why don't you tell us about your occupation and where you're located right now?
My occupation, babes, I do a little bit of this, I do a little bit of that. I get what I want when I want. You need something, I got it. Don't worry about it. And I'm currently at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel in LA.
Ooh, very nice.
Always.
Is there a particular thing that you ever saw that got you read into the organization the way you are now?
I mean, let's just say the weird has always found me. Okay, babes? Like, it's just where I'm at.
Fair enough. Excellent. So, Candy, you're at a party that happens to be happening at the hotel lobby that night.
Always.
You are hanging around with some folks, and at one point, someone buys you a drink, and as you pick up, what is your favorite drink, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Right now, I mean, whiskey neat, really. Just
Fair
keep
enough.
it simple.
Things that people can't mess up. So a whiskey neat is delivered directly to you, and underneath it is a napkin with a phone number on it. Now, it doesn't just say "call me"; it says "we need you."
Honey, everybody needs me.
So I would suspect that at least at some point you walk out into a quieter portion of the lobby, and you call the number, which just sends you to a recorded line that says you are needed in Chicago and gives you the dates and times that you are needed there, which would be June 1st, 1978. So what do you do? Do you have anyone that you need to report to in order to go join people in Chicago?
No. But I do ring my very good friend who is the CEO of Pan Am, and I get some free tickets up there.
Candy's got connections.
Oh, yeah, she does.
I like this. All right.
But yeah, no, I don't answer to anybody but myself. And apparently my kitty.
Yeah, kitty. So on June 1st, all of you arrive in Chicago, and there is a person who is standing with those cards out in front of the not the lobby, but the arrivals gate at the airport, and it has all of your names on it, and they say, "Please come this way," and you are escorted into a unmarked black sedan.
They couldn't get a limo?
Apparently
We're
not.
just throwing our names out there? What?
I have to say, does my name, is there a doctor on there? Because I worked hard for that.
I believe there is.
All right.
So if I am making assumptions, please let me know. But I would suspect that since you were contacted under specific clandestine words, because you were contacted under specific clandestine circumstances, that these people, Darla, they have a code and answer for you to set your mind at ease. They have a answer and watchword. Dr. Sophie McCoy. They definitely make sure to name you as a doctor, and that they're a huge fan of your work. And Candy, they are presenting you with a whiskey neat as you get into the car. Because
Lovely.
it's 1978 and people drink and drive all the time. And this is just the person who is escorting you. You are then driven to a what's our favorite thing to do? You are driven to a little bistro. It's a little Italian bistro just outside in the outskirts of Chicago. And the driver drops you off there. And you are sort of pointed in a direction. There is a large man who is still wearing sunglasses while indoors.
A few years are going to write a song about that.
Right? He couldn't hide in plain sight if he tried. He is a tall, probably over 6 feet tall looking man. Like, it's hard for him to fit his knees under the table level of dude. He's very broad shouldered. He has excellent hair. His hair is just sort of waved a little bit. It looks very natural. He has a big clefted chin. He totally doesn't look like Henry Cavill at all, that I'm clearly basing this character on.
Because he was born in 1978.
Was he really?
Yes, he was.
I didn't even know that. Yay!
He doesn't look like an infant, so good.
No.
He sounds like a real Rock Hudson.
Yes. Very handsome. And he stands as you start to walk toward the table, and he says, ladies, pleasure to meet all of you. And he will sort of shake your hands or offer to shake all of your hands. It's up to you if you guys want to shake his hand. I'm curious what everyone does when he offers. So, Darla, what do you do?
Firm handshake, eye contact.
Nice. Dr. Sophie, what do you do?
Oh, definitely going to shake his hand. I'm never going to turn down a handsome, tall drink of water like that.
Candy, what do you do?
Babe, how are you? Mwah, mwah.
He seems a little confused about that, but he just rolls with it. And he invites you to it's a private booth, sort of at the back of the restaurant, where he has already ordered just some very basic antipasti appetizers. And some espresso for the table, so everyone can have a glass of espresso as they like. And he begins. Ladies, thank you for coming. This is a mission of utmost importance, and I'm grateful that you are here. My name is James Steele. I work with MI6. And I have contacted all of you because we have a situation that's come up just outside of Chicago, and we think that you would be able to deal with this in a discreet manner.
I'm going to look over at Candy and then back at him. Discreet?
More discreet than a 6'4" British man walking down the middle of a street of Skokie, Illinois.
Excuse me, if that was a veiled attempt to tell me that I'm not discreet, I can be very discreet if I want to be, okay?
I'm sure you can.
Yes. Yes, Rev Tommy. This is So Charlie's Angels meets Delta Green. We're pretty much on that point. So, ladies, here's what I can tell you, and I unfortunately can't give you as much information as I wish I could. 2 people have been murdered recently in Skokie, Illinois. It may be connected to a larger group of murders, but we're not certain on that point yet. I can tell you that the 2 people are named Henry Haberfeld and Gerald Beekman. I cannot pronounce Gerald without looking at Gerald. Sorry. Um, Henry Haberfeld and Gerald Beekman. And at this, he hands you a very brief dossier with just basic information about both of them, what they looked like, where they worked, that kind of stuff. I can give you all that in a second. The second gentleman, Gerald Beekman, was murdered about 3 days ago. And we don't know if this is a serial murderer. We do not know if this is something bigger. We think it may be related to the Soviets, but we're not sure. We need you to infiltrate the scenes of these murders and gather any information that you find. If you find any info hazards, you need to dispose of them appropriately. If you find any information that you feel is important, you need to report it back to me. Other than that, we hope that you can handle these situations with discretion and as quickly as possible. Since this last person was murdered only a few days ago, we have reason to believe that whoever the murderer is may still be in the area.
Quick question there, 007. What's in it for me?
I don't know that I can completely tell you, but you are doing a mission of the utmost importance that involves national security.
What about those warrants in Tottingham? Can you do anything for that? I would love to get back to London.
I'll see what I can arrange. And you see him sort of take out like a note card and a pencil and just write Tottingham on a piece of paper and put it back down. Is there anything else that any of you require before you would go on your mission?
I assume that my supervisor would have already discussed my usual rate and clearances that are necessary. I just have questions about the victims and the area, because you're saying the Soviets.
Yes. Hang
it
on one
doesn't-
second, Ms. Darla, because I'm afraid to disabuse you of a specific notion, but your handler has not been specifically contacted in this case. We are not actually communicating with the CIA on this matter. We want it to be so discreet that not even your employers, whoever they might be, and at this point he sort of looks pointedly at Candy and then turns back around, none of them should be aware of what's going on, and no one should be any wiser what occurs here.
Probably should have left a note then. Oh well, spy stuff.
I'm going to go
They're
ahead
used
and I'm
to it.
going to flip through that dossier real quick. Is there information in here about the location and nature of the murder?
Yes.
All right.
So each person is listed with their specific address in Skokie, Illinois, which is about 15 miles outside of Chicago proper. And it lists their occupations and their method of decease. Basically, what you find out is Henry Haberfeld was an aerospace engineer. He was married with 2 children who have since left the premises to go live with a sister in South Carolina. He worked for the Federal Mogul Corporation in Skokie, Illinois, and he was cut to pieces inside of his home. That's all that it lists. It doesn't list a coroner's report or anything like that. And then with Gerald Beekman, he lived near the park and cemetery, and I can give you these exact addresses. They're real. He was a theoretical physicist, and he worked for Federal Mogul Corporation as well. He was shot to death inside of his home.
See, now that sounds like the Krauts. The slicing up, that sounds like some more Son of Sam stuff.
What about this, besides the fact that they both work for a singular entity, makes you think that they're in any way connected?
I can't tell you. I know that they're connected. And I hope that you can find the information that would possibly lead you down that path and that you can eliminate it effectively. No one else should know that these two people are connected. And that's all I can say.
Handsome and mysterious. Wonderful.
Real quick question. Are you a requisition officer?
Unfortunately, no. I have no capability of giving you anything other than what you brought with you. Or what I'm sure, Ms. Candy, you can get with your more than capable hands. That's entirely up to you. The first thing I need you to do is investigate these two deaths, however you so choose, and find as much information about them as possible. In the dossier, you will find a phone number that is my direct MI6 line. It will be routed to me wherever I am. I cannot tell you where I will be for the next week, but I will be in the United States at that time. Just call that number. They'll get in touch with me. Is there anything else, ladies?
No.
I cannot think of anything right now.
All right.
Let's go catch us some bad guys.
Thomas will drop you off at whichever location you choose to go to first. After that, you will be on your own to gather a taxi or whatever you so choose. There is public transportation in Skokie. It's not completely, bereft. But if you so choose to rent a vehicle or anything like that, that has to be on you and under the most discretion that you can muster. We don't want any of this getting back to anyone, including any of your parent organizations. I hope you understand.
Of course.
Very well, then. And he stands up and shakes all of your hands. He kind of reaches out to Candy, and he's not quite sure if she's going to try to kiss his cheeks again. He says, Tottingham, we'll talk. And then he walks out the front door.
Well, I guess we better see to this, Thomas. Where do you think we should start first, Henry or Gerald? Personally, I want to know why a man was cut to pieces.
That one definitely has my interest piqued.
Yeah, that one seems more interesting. Okay. Or should we do the boring one first? I don't know.
I find that sometimes the things that appear boring end up being far more complex. So let's start with the man who's been hacked to pieces, because I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to find more than just a couple of bullets when we find our theoretical physicist's murder.
All right.
Fair enough.
So you guys give Thomas the address. It is 3460 Foster Street. I don't know if real people live there, by the way, so don't necessarily look up the house. But if you feel like Google Earthing it, it is a real place. So you make your way into Skokie, Illinois, and I would love for all of you to roll some kind of observation roll. Not necessarily alertness. Any alertness skill that you potentially have would be fine. Or if you would like to maybe roll something else, you may feel free to do so. This is just as you're driving in, observing the environment that you are in.
I did an alertness and I got a critical success.
Woohoo!
I did alertness and I got 40. My alertness is set at 40.
Yay, that is also a success.
I did alertness. I rolled a 13 and my alertness is 60.
Wow. Very nice. Everything. Okay. So much like Charlie's Angels, you guys are all very alert and aware of what's going on. So as you make your way to Skokie, Illinois, it's about 15 miles outside of Chicago. The Chicago L train does come here, and there are a lot of people that commute back and forth from Chicago to this small suburb. Candy, you notice that there are a lot of men in Hasidic Jewish traditional outfits, in spite of it being June. They are in more conservative outfits. actually, you'd be surprised, a large portion of this population seemingly is Jewish, which is a very interesting sort of aspect to find out. Dr. Sophie, as you're driving around the town, you do see the large Federal Mogul Corporation building. It is a big block building. Especially as a physicist yourself, you might be familiar with some of the things that they do. They do a lot of aeronautics, they do a lot of robotics, they do a lot of rocketry, they do a lot of different stuff. And you might remember that one of their rockets helped to power one of the first spaceflight missions, one of the very early ones. Ms. Darla, as you are approaching the environment, you notice obviously a lot of synagogues, a lot of Jewish community centers, a lot of Jewish day schools, things like that. You also are assessing for threats, and you see a bunch of people with black leather and shaved heads and some interesting iconography that they're walking around with that you might peg as skinheads. But they're in off to the way places. They seem to be in alleyways. They're not congregating in large areas. They seem to be kind of skulking in the shadows. They are not making themselves super known right now. Cool. And you guys make your way to 3460 Foster Street. It is a house that was built in the 1950s during the post-war boom, which seemingly a lot of the houses in this area look very similar. It's a ranch style, big flat building. There is no longer any crime tape up. There are people sort of around in the area, but it's almost like there's this, like a shadow over the building. Not an actual shadow, not a physical shadow, but like people are avoiding it. They don't want to go to that house. They're not, the kids playing out in the yards nearby are or playing in the street after school. Assume it's like 3 p.m. ish. They don't go near that house. They avoid it. And even people who are seemingly, with their strollers walking their babies are almost compelled to cross the street or to walk faster to get away from this house. What do you guys do? Oh, and Thomas drops you off and says, "Good luck, ladies." And then he kind of speeds off.
So what does the crime scene look like at the moment?
Right now, it no longer appears to be a crime scene. You can see remnants of police tape sort of strung up around the trees on the property. There are a couple of larger trees that they had cordoned it off at some point, but it is no longer cordoned off. Whatever was happening on this scene is no longer happening. And with the dossier that you have, you can see that this murder occurred about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Sometime in May. And it did alert you in the dossier that after that point, the widow and her 2 children moved to South Carolina.
Right. But the house is currently unoccupied.
Yes.
And this is the guy that got chopped up, not the guy that got shot.
Correct.
Okay.
Henry
Capel.
Haberfield, right?
It's Haberfeld, sorry. Haberfeld. I will write it in the stuff because that's what I have access to.
Does the dossier tell us exactly where in the house he was found?
Yes. So it does list that he was in the den area. Basically, the house is kind of like a big rectangle. So if you come in the front door, you're entering into the living room, formal living room. And then off to your left is the dining room. If you would to go to the right, that's where the 2 bedrooms and single bathroom of the house are located. The master and second bedroom and a bathroom. And then if you were to go through the dining room, then you would eventually end up in the kitchen and den area.
Are there lots of people on the street at the moment?
There are a fair number of people. This is probably about. Oh, I can't spell. This is probably about 30 minutes after the house. The school has let out. So there's a bunch of. Oh, hello, Sisha. There's a bunch of kids playing around out in the street. They are again avoiding the house. And there are maybe a half a dozen people, like 4 kids playing, and then a mom walking down the street with her baby, talking to another mom, wearing high heels because that's what you did when you walked around the neighborhood with your newborn at the time. Setting a scene, people. Here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking a little bit suspicious just hanging out here, so maybe we should find our way inside Mr. Haberfield's house.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's walk up to the front door.
I'm taking a sweeping look under the windows to see if like the grass is growing any different. Look, are there any signs of forced entry, broken glass, door jam, anything out of the ordinary for the outside of a house?
Sure. Roll me a search roll for that, Ms. Darla. And Candy, you're walking up to the front door. Do either of you or Sophie want to try to be stealthy doing that? Or Candy, would you like to try to jimmy the door? Is there anything that you might want to try?
I don't try to be sneaky. I just walk up like I own it. And yeah, I want to check to see is it locked?
Roll me. What do you think you would do? It's not necessarily an alertness roll. Do you have? Oh, you have criminology, don't you? Criminal enterprises. Very nice. Yeah. Feel free to roll me that. Dr. Sophie, is there anything in particular you're doing? Are you walking up to the door with everybody else?
I'm just walking up to the door. I want to see if we can just get in by going through the front door.
I pass.
Cool. Darla, did you pass?
I got a 21 and I was aiming for 20.
Oh. Yeah, keep in mind, Twitch friends, if you would like to donate some points, feel free to do so. All right. Oh, and hello, Ale Cake. What are we talking about? We're investigating a murder scene. Candy, you pass. So you are checking the door. You wriggle the handle a little bit, and it's locked. But the first thing you do is just sort of look around the environment, and lo and behold, there is a welcome mat still on the front porch, and directly underneath it is a key.
Great.
So do you all go in?
Yep.
Yeah. Darla, for losing that roll, you just notice that there doesn't seem to be any disturbances in the grass or anything like that. There doesn't seem to be any broken windows in the front of the house. The house would look completely normal, except it gets this kind of weird foreboding sensation that it's just empty. You know, like you're walking up on a relatively calm residential street, but there's no one in this house, and that's really weird. Cool. All right. So the 3 of you walk in to the living room. It's a very nice formal living room. All 3 of you, can you roll me just sort of an alertness roll? Get an idea of, and let me know if there's anything in particular you are looking for as you go into this main living room.
I also take my shoes off.
Ooh. Cool.
Gross.
Shag carpet, man. I don't want my prints here.
Well, I just rolled an 84, so I am not seeing a damn thing in here.
I barely pass.
Yeah,
I'm well under.
Okay. Dr. Sophie, you are assaulted by the riot of colors as you walk in. Clearly, the person who owned this house had a stay-at-home wife who loved to decorate. So there is very plush shag carpet on the floors. There's some wild wallpaper in front of you with paisleys, and it's orange, and it's yellow and green. There's some weird curtains on the windows that are kind of the weird flouncy sort of material. It's kind of see-through, but not really. They're an interesting shade of beige. Clearly, this person spent her time, and you can make the assumption probably a her, spent their time decorating the house, that was the thing that they loved to do. So you are just assaulted with a riot of colors and patterns.
Someone has a line of credit at Sears Roebuck.
Candy, you notice that yes, this room, while a riot of colors, is very fashionable, and that it seems like about half the furniture is gone. It looks like someone probably moved some stuff out recently, but not all of it. So, probably the couch and in the main living space is still there. The giant dining table in the chairs are still over to your left. They're pretty easy to observe. Um, the pictures and paintings and things are down from the walls, so you can see like spaces where there used to be probably family photos and things like that. But they are not here anymore. So it's kind of an odd sort of shell of the house.
Okay.
Ms. Darla, yeah, you succeeded. So, the house is very quiet. Other than the typical hum of appliances, you can hear there's probably an analog clock somewhere in the kitchen that you can hear ticking. It smells when you come in like cleaning supplies, bleach and chemicals and stuff like that.
Is the carpet new?
No, the carpet seems to be probably 2 or 3 years old. Was intentionally designed to be this carpet. So it was replaced probably from the original style of the house. But it's not brand new for sure.
Thank you for the points.
Yeah. It's gonna get exciting. Don't worry.
Oh,
Where do you guys want to head next?
I want to see if there's an office.
Okay. So basically what you see directly in front of you right now is that this is the living room, and then off to your left is the dining room. And then you could move in toward like kitchen den area and stuff. Do you guys just want to move into like the kitchen and den?
Well, that's exactly where Sophie's heading. I'd like to see where this actually happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
At least where the body was found.
Yeah, I want to go in where the body was found, check the walls, check, floor, anything for spray, bullet holes, whatever was overlooked.
I mean, this is Skokie. It's not as if it's New York. They may have missed something. We're not talking exactly about the cream of the crop here.
I want to
Maybe
look
the
for
cream of the
documents.
crap.
Floridian.
Sure. Okay. So you all move through the dining room, which again just has one of those big dark oak tables with chairs that have weird cushions tied to the seats.
You have
Then-
a real disdain for 1978 interior design.
I have been watching a lot of Hometown, and there is a lot of those episodes that are like just wild looking wallpaper every once in a while, and I'm like, that's my inspiration.
The 70s. There's going to be a ceramic owl somewhere in this home,
Oh, yes.
and you're
a
just going to
macrame
have to
one.
deal with that.
There's going to be a
macrame.
macrame owl as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And macrame.
Yeah, so you guys head into the kitchen / den. It's like an eating kitchen. It's much less formal than the front of the house. And the den, and all three of you now immediately notice that the smell of bleach and chemicals is much stronger in here. And towards the back right corner of the den, kind of near where the fireplace is, it has one of those big fireplaces. There is the remnants of probably where this person was killed. Portions of the carpet are cut up unceremoniously. There's just sections of it missing and leaving bare floors. Very nice pine floors, by the way.
Why would you
There-
cover over that?
The wallpaper in this room is kind of like a butter yellow. But you can tell in that section of the room, right by that area, the walls have been scrubbed, like probably scrubbed with bleach. The wallpaper is slightly lighter in that area. You're not really seeing any specific, signs of blood, but clearly this was there has been someone through here who has cleaned up the scene.
I still want to look for like an office.
Sure. Yeah. Documents and stuff. So there's not really a formal office. In the kitchen, they do have a sort of section of countertop that has a chair sort of ducked under it. It probably would be where they would do bills and stuff like that. But there doesn't seem to be much here right now. It looks like everything was probably taken out recently.
Do I have a name of his wife?
Lauren.
Lauren, great. Okay, I would like to go to their bedroom.
Sure. Darla, Sophie, is there anything else you guys want to do? You want to look for?
Well, actually,
I'm gonna
since
check
we're
out the
here,
basement because basements are always terrible.
well, I'd like to look around this den a little bit longer and see if there's anything here that gives me any sort of a clue about who this man was and what he was involved in that might have earned him the ire of someone hard enough to want them to separate pieces of his body from one another.
Deli style.
So, looking for books. Is there a library in here, or is there a bookshelf? Is there anything in here? Degrees, awards, anything like that?
Awesome. Okay. Are we playing the Let's Split Up Gang of the Scooby-Doo game?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we will deal with Candy first. So Candy, you head into sort of the back hallway, which you could have accessed from the main door as well. So there is there's a small bathroom that is yellow. The bathtub is yellow. The sink is yellow. The toilet is yellow. It's all pretty standard stuff. There appears to be no more shower curtain in there. It doesn't look like there's any remnants of things. People probably moved everything out, or at least a good chunk of stuff out. You go into the second bedroom, probably just glance in it for a second. It still has bunk beds, so clearly this is where the kids would have slept. They have still have pink and blue comforters on them, so you would guess that they're probably a boy and a girl. And then you head to the main bedroom, which still has its master bed set on it.
Okay.
It is a big bedroom set. Has like for the time, like a queen size bed that is sort of low to the ground. It has a handmade quilt still on the end of the bed that you recognize someone wouldn't have just bought this somewhere, even with as trendy as macrame is. It looks like somebody probably knitted this by hand.
Great.
Is there anything that you would like to look for specifically in the bedroom now that you are here?
I am looking for a safe, maybe a false wall. I'm looking for basically any place where any hidey hole kind of place. Maybe I look like under the mattress or in the drawers a little bit. I'm looking for spots where you can hide secrets.
Okay. What would you like to roll for that specifically? So you could do like a regular search check, or you could potentially use your criminology if you think that that might be useful. Do you have a particular flavor you'd like to roll for this?
Yeah, let's do criminology.
Okay.
Yep, I got it.
Cool. Candy's expertise in hiding things from the cops comes in handy as you are sort of digging through different areas. Underneath the mattress, you feel something that feels like paperwork. What you find is a list of naturalization papers. So this is information about immigration. This person's real name was Carl Hager. Karlhager.
Okay.
You look around the rest of the room. You don't really seem to find anything else significant. There's missing photos and things like that. There's a big dresser, one of those yellow dressers that's made out of pine that has like a big mirror on it. You look fabulous in the mirror as usual. But yeah, there's nothing in any of the drawers. The drawers have been cleaned out.
Great. I take, is there like a box, like a shoe box or like a box that I could, or like a big bag or something?
Not in the room. No.
Okay. I take the quilt and I fold it up.
Okay. Sounds good. Ms. Darla, you are heading down into the basement. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Well, I take my Walther PPK out of my bag, because it's a basement. Yeah, I'm looking for a portal to hell. I'm looking for a sex swing. I'm looking for a filing cabinet. I'm looking for a gimp in a cage. I'm looking for an ominous reel-to-reel projector setup, the carousel of slideshow pictures, just whatever's going on that beckoned this guy to get sliced up like a turkey. Bomb shelter.
Yeah.
Honestly, like maybe, just from the 50s, left over from Cold War. A large bulletin board with yarn.
Okay. Yeah. So, what would you like to roll to search for that? Like, I know you have obviously like a search roll, but is there anything else that you might want to try? Like, any kind of specific, skill for your CIA operative that you think might work to your advantage? Especially as you're looking for like cognitive hazards.
Yeah, I beefed up all of the aggressive things, not so much the finer arts.
Yeah.
Um,
Just roll me a general alertness, though. That's fine.
okay, it goes. I was about to say if alertness counts, because alertness is 60,
Yeah.
and I got 40.
Woohoo! Awesome. Yeah, so you go down into the basement. It's kind of a double of the footprint of the house. You turn on the light. It's one of those, it's just a big empty room looking thing. There's a sump pump in one corner. There is a canned foods along one wall, like a big just shelf
Mhm.
full of canned foods. There is another shelf that's still down there that has all different kinds of paint samples and carpet samples and all kinds of things like that. A basic toolbox that looks nice, pretty old, but nice. Nothing completely out of the ordinary. Definitely no blood, no occult symbols, no anything like that. You look in the tool chest just on a whim, and you do find a medal, a medal of achievement, like a decorative, not a decorative medal. What do I want to say? Like a medal.
Yes, I have a 60 in military science.
Ooh, okay.
And that's a 96. I have no idea what this is.
Ah, okay. You can tell that it's not an American military medal. And it's probably not British either. But other than that, it doesn't have any specific words or anything on it.
Is there a bird on it?
Is
it an eagle or a falcon?
Yes, there is an eagle on it.
I'm just going to take this with me.
Very cool. All right, Dr. Sophie McCoy. You said you were going to continue to look through the den and try to do a little bit more researchy stuff. Okay. Why don't you, is there a particular skill that you would like to use other than alertness, or would you just like to roll an alertness?
Let's go ahead, and I think we're just going to stay with alertness right now.
Okay, feel free to roll.
And that's a 5.
Woo! Very nice. Yeah. So yeah, you start looking around the room. There's not a whole lot of stuff left in here. Just really big pieces of furniture, but there are some bookshelves. And the further you sort of look through the bookshelves, you find a lot of stuff that you would recognize. This person was an aerospace engineer, so you see a lot of things that you are kind of familiar with, theoretical papers and information on that kind of stuff. And as you flip through everything, you find a photograph. And it is a photograph of 3 men. It's a black and white photograph. They look like they're probably in their 20s to 30s. They're 3 white men, and they are standing in front of what looks like a rocket of some kind. You don't know specifically what kind of rocket, but you can identify with just being a physicist in general that this is clearly some kind of rocketry program, something important. And it is hidden in the pages of a physics manual kind of thing, like a physics paper about rocketry and rocket science.
All right. Now, do any of these 3 men in this picture, are there any other pictures around this room that might show someone who sort of resembles any of them?
No, but you would probably recognize at least one of the faces in the photo as probably a younger version of Henry Haberfeld. God, I cannot pronounce the dude's name. Sorry. Henry Haberfeld / Carl Hager. Is there anything else that you guys would like to do while you're hanging out in this house?
Is there an attic?
You can see that there's one of those pull down sets of stairs. You can come back up from the basement and take a look in the attic if you'd like.
I'll do a quick look around.
Yeah. You don't need to roll that for your search skill. There doesn't seem to be anything in the attic, but
Is there a box up there?
No, there are no boxes up there. You're just currently walking around carrying a tapestry.
It's fine.
And
I find a bag and I toss it down to you. It's
Great.
the big brown bag from Bloomingdale's.
Beautiful. I put the quilts in there.
There's also a yarn wig, wooden rocking horse, a dress form, and a globe.
Yes, perfection.
There aren't any snakes, thankfully. There's nothing upstairs that is a definitely something dangerous.
Not in the attic. Basement, maybe.
They like warm places.
I show my papers that I found to the crew.
Ooh.
Cool. Yeah, it is an American, kind of like not a passport, but the American version of naturalization papers from maybe Ellis Island or something like that. But
Are they forged?
I
would
roll
know.
your criminology for that if you would like.
Beefed it.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Bad. Okay. You can't tell. They look legitimate from what you know for sure, but really good forgers are really good. So it's possible that these could be forged.
And those papers are very, very simple. I've seen naturalization papers from the late 60s, and there's not much to them actually here in the U.S.
I guess I want to maybe take another look in the living room. Similar, like, are there any paintings on the wall?
Not anymore. There are spaces where there probably were paintings at some point, or big family pictures, things like that. Maybe a big Sears photo of the family together, but they don't appear. There's nothing here now.
Is there a Bible?
Yes. On the shelf, you do find a standard Bible from the 1950s, probably 1955.
I want to check the binding and the boards to see if there's any documents in there.
Sure. Yeah, you don't even have to roll for that. There's nothing in
Okay.
that Bible. It's is a very standard one. It looks like something you would find at just a church down the street.
It's not the family Bible.
The
No.
family Bible.
It's not.
I'm going to glance out the back window, into the backyard. Anything amiss there? Standard.
It doesn't appear to be. There is a like a fence just going around the whole thing. Nothing seems to be amiss about the fence itself either. And there's a grill outside that looked pretty well tended. Very Americana style, but yeah, nothing seems amiss. There doesn't seem to be anything missing from the backyard. And really only things that you're seeing out there either are just the big pieces of furniture, like a big table and chairs.
Is there a garage on the property?
There is not. There's just a carport on the side.
Ladies, I don't know if we're going to find anything else here. It looks like somebody came in and did a fine job of, well, they tried to do a fine job of making it seem as if nothing ever happened here.
I kind of want a quick word with the busybodies that walk up and down the street, the local moms.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Sure.
Just gonna,
So that is a question then. How do you exit the home? Do you
Right out the front door
walk right out the front door? Okay.
with my bag.
with her bag.
With your bag of stuff from Bloomingdale's.
Candy goes shopping.
Cool. Yeah, so there are across the street, there are kids sort of
I
playing.
did put my shoes back on.
Oh, good. Yay. Yes, that's fine.
Details.
Details.
Yeah, there are kids playing across the street, and the woman who had made the circuit down the way is starting to come back on the opposite side on the sidewalk. She's still walking with her friend. She is a white appearing woman in her mid-20s. She is wearing a dress and sensible heels, and she is talking to a friend who is also wearing a dress. She's dressed a little bit more conservatively, and she has her hair pulled back.
So I wave him down.
Okay.
And I'm gonna. Well, hi there. We're from the real estate company, and we've been looking around. I just wanted to ask you ladies a few things. Since this house, it's been sitting there. Could you tell me anything? Could you tell me anything about the neighborhood? Anything about the people that live there? We're just trying to get a nice little, rapport going for your new neighbors, whoever they might be, don't you?
Roll me a. What do you think would work? This is like a persuade, I think, to make them believe you, unless you have something else that you think would make them believe you.
Looking.
Yeah, definitely not heavy weapons.
Disguise?
You're not changing your appearance,
Yeah.
though. So I would say a persuade, which you don't have super bad. And do keep in mind that you do have at least one help that you could potentially use.
I am going to use my help.
Okay. So
That's
that puts that
5?
skill now, at a +5.
Oh, she has that Gianna accent, don't you know? Just a single mom trying to sell some houses in the Midwest, don't you?
Is there a bluff skill in this, Sir David? Not really. It's basically persuade is kind of
Persuade.
the bluff skill for this universe.
All right, so I have the +5, right?
Mm-hmm. So you would be
Um,
rolling under a 45 currently instead of your regular 40.
I got 5.
Yeah. Okay. So when
They buy a hook, line, and sinker, betcha.
So when a well-dressed woman in probably a practical suit comes up to her, the girl pushing the stroller immediately believes you that you are definitely a real estate agent, and that you are definitely here to eventually show the house. And she says, Oh, thank you for showing the house. I'm so sad that the people here had to leave. It's just, oh, what a tragedy. Isn't
Well,
that
what have
right,
you
Jenny?
heard?
Well, I heard that Henry, the husband, he
Mhm.
unfortunately passed in the house, which was really disturbing. I mean, they shut down the whole street for a day. I couldn't even get out to go do my grocery shopping, could I, Jenny? And Jenny is apparently the other woman. She's like, "No, I couldn't leave either. Oh, it was such an experience." And the first woman carrying the baby or pushing the baby continues. Yeah, that was just an awful time. And then after that, they came by with the moving truck and they moved most of the stuff away. I don't think they got everything. I think I mean I definitely went over there one time for dinner when we had a big party when they all moved in. But that was goodness, like 15 years ago. It's been such a long time.
Well, that is so nice to hear that the neighbors get together. And yet people don't do that enough anymore. So what can you tell me about them though with these little social gatherings? Do you do that a lot? Do you check in on each other?
Oh, sure. Sometimes we have big potlucks together, especially around the holidays. Oh, goodness. And sometimes at the other end of the neighborhood on the high holy days, everybody has a big get to do before, on Saturdays before they're not allowed to work. Oh, no, not Saturday, Sunday. Uh on certain days when they're allowed to cook and whatnot before they
Hmm.
have to fast. I'm not personally Jewish, but most of the people in the new neighborhood are, and we all get together. Oh, the kugel that some of my neighbors can create is just fabulous.
Well, that is just real nice.
Oh, golly gee, potlucks are so much
Oh
fun.
gosh.
Oh goodness.
Oh, the potlucks. Oh my goodness. So many ways to serve sausage.
Oh
Um,
yes. Oh for
well,
sure.
gosh, I let me just check in with my constituents. The other ladies from the real estate agency. Ladies, did you meet Jenny and
Oh, I'm
oh, I
sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Cynthia. Hello.
Cynthia and Jenny. These lovely ladies are from the neighborhood.
Well,
Betcha.
it's so nice to meet you.
Hi.
We can't wait until there's somebody new to be here. We're just so excited.
Well, it
Oh, turn
was
southern. Sorry.
this was I am just pleased as punch to meet you. I won't take it up any more of your day.
All right. Well, you just let us know when just put those big signs in the yard like you like to do, and we'll get right on baking those welcoming
Don't
Casserole?
hurt yourself,
casseroles.
Cindy.
Casseroles, yes.
Um,
Accent. Sorry.
So I just have one really quick question because I know it sounds like a lovely neighborhood from everything that you were just telling my dear friend here. But I also heard what you said happened to the gentleman who lived here before. Are you worried about anything happening in this neighborhood or
Oh
something
goodness.
else?
I don't feel like. And Cynthia kind of looks at Jenny, and they both sort of exchange a look. Like, we have a neighborhood watch here, and don't you know it just it didn't they didn't catch anything. It seemed like it might have been I heard it might have been an associate of Mr. Haberfeld, that he might have run into some bad people or something. Now, I wouldn't know anything about that. They're such nice people, Henry and Lauren. They were lovely, but I just, I just don't know uh what could have happened. I'm not worried. Are you worried, Jenny? And Jay says, "Oh no, bless your soul. I am not worried. I think that we will be just fine. And with all of those police that came by when they investigated the house, I don't think it'll be a problem."
Well, that's good to hear because it certainly makes it more easy to sell a house if the neighborhood is safe.
Oh yes, of course. Oh, we've had some other houses come up for sale in the last couple of years. I think the one down the street probably sold for 70,000. I mean, that was quite a price a couple of years ago. So nice.
My goodness.
And they start gabbing amongst themselves about how the house was previously set up, that it was staged very effectively and looked really pretty, and that's probably why the house sold for so much.
While they're having this conversation, I want to walk over to the kids.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so there are 4 kids playing outside. They're all boys.
Right.
They are it's June, so they're all wearing shorts and stuff. They are clearly they got out of school pretty recently, and they are just kind of roughhousing. They're kind of pushing each other around, just
Great.
being boys and playing with sticks.
I just say, hey, kid.
One of them, probably the tallest of the 4, sort of looks around and he walks up and he's like, yeah.
I'll give you $5 if you can answer my questions.
Oh, and he kind of looks around for a second and he's like, he kind of steps up and the other kids immediately try to get in front of him and he pushes them back. And he's like, shh, it's mine. Okay, what do you want to know?
I want to know about that creepy house.
Oh, where the dude got murdered? Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that. What'd you hear?
Well, I heard that he got cut apart by some kind of dude. I don't know, like maybe somebody from his work or something. I don't know.
Do you know what he looked like?
Oh yeah, he was like an older white dude with like, kind of scraggly brown hair, just normal. His name is Mr. Haberfeld. He had oh god. I used to play with Jimmy, who their kid all the time. Yeah, he was super cool. He like had really nice stuff. He hated that he had to share his room with his sister, but like other than that, it was super fine. Rad.
Can you tell me anything about the day he was murdered? Like who was around, what happened?
He kind of looks at his friends and he's like, I mean, I know Jimmy and his sister and his mom like went out for a bit. I don't know, maybe sometimes they looked like they were fighting. Jimmy said his parents fought sometimes.
All right.
Nothing weird. And I had to go in and do homework, so I didn't see anything. So I live right here. And he points behind him. He's like, I live right here. That's my house. Yeah, this is my house. And this is my brother, Tom. And Tom's like, hi. He's like, shut up, Tom.
Hi, Tom. What's your name?
My name's Ben.
Ben. Last question.
Sure.
So
and he's like holding his hand out like already, like, okay, yep, I'm ready for it.
So the people at this house, right? There have been some people who like came to clean it. Did you see anybody trying to clean the house, or like maybe a van that had a cleaning company on it or something like that?
Sure. Well, there was the moving truck that came when the Haberfelds left after, the deaths and stuff. And then before that, there was like, when the police came, I think after that, there was like a big van that came by with like big vacuums. They had the vacuums that have like the thing at the back and then the long tubes and then the thing at the front. They were big vacuums.
Do you remember like a name on the van? Like a company name?
No.
Are you sure? Like, I got $10 for you.
Whoa.
It's like a month at the arcade.
Yeah, he's like super excited. And then Tom kind of pushes his brother out of the way and he said, I remember that it had a cleaning person on the side of it. And Tom is clearly like 6 years old. Like he's much younger than his brother. He's like, and then Ben's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. So it had like a dude on the side, a guy on the side that had the same kind of vacuum. I think it was just, I don't know. It's like a cleaning company you see in the main street. They have like a building on Main Street or something. It's just a cleaning place.
Cool. All All right, well, don't spend this all in one place and keep your noses clean. And don't give your mom too much trouble, all right? And give her the money.
Yes, ma'am. And Ben takes the first $5 that you proffered, and then Tom jumps up beside him and takes the other $5 and runs back toward the house, followed by the other two boys.
Gotta love those latchkey kids.
Yeah, is there anything else you guys want to do to talk to Cynthia and Jenny?
I think we're wrapping up with Cindy and Jenny. I'm probably saying something like, "Oh gosh, I half a lemon. I'm gonna use that trick. Thank you."
Oh,
But-
and they set up nice flowers in every room. Oh, it was just to die for.
That's it's just you hear about this Al Capone type stuff in the cities, but not in a little place like this.
Were you guys invited to the funeral?
Oh, and then like Cynthia kind of turns towards you and she makes an assessment of Candy's character. Says,
I'm from the city.
Oh, we get it. Well, no, we weren't really, we had a big party after the funeral had happened. They kept it kind of private, mostly just work people that he knew and things like that. And her sister came up for a bit from South Carolina, and I think that's where they ended up moving.
Well,
I bet they had some fun accents if they were originally from North Carolina. Did the mister, did he have a funny accent to you?
Oh, no, I don't think so. And then Jenny kind of speaks up. She's like, well, one time I did hear him talking in a weird accent, like a weird, I don't know, like a weird language or something, but I didn't catch it. And that was just one time he was yelling at his kids in the backyard or something. I don't remember.
Oh, like one of them sexy foreign accents?
I mean, it didn't sound sexy. It just sounded angry.
That's a shame.
Well, I don't
well,
like to pry. I want to, try not to notice too much. And goodness, around this neighborhood, there are tons of people that speak Yiddish. So I just don't try to follow any of that.
well, if you do have any other things that come up, I pull out a business card that has Janice Dupree, real estate agent, on it, and I hand it to her. Just give that number a call, okay, honey?
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, and we will, we'll look into how we did that lemon trick over at the other house. I will let you know as soon as we can. All right, and they're gonna at this point now the baby kind of starts to cry and she starts to kind of rock her and it's like, oh, I've got to get little Joseph home. Pardon me. And then they just start walking back off together.
I guess we ought to wander over to that payphone across the way that has the Yellow Pages book attached to it and find ourselves a car rental.
I go back to the house and I toss the blanket in. I don't need it. It was going to be my cover.
You just walk back to the house, toss the blanket in the front door, and then just leave. Okay, good, fun.
It was going to be your cover?
Yeah, if anybody asked. I was going to say, oh, Lauren just asked me to drop by and pick up this family heirloom, obviously. But you have that all covered, so good for you. Points to you, Miss Darla. I'm proud of you.
I just thought you were stealing a quilt.
I thought you were going shopping.
Yeah, I mean, quilts are nice, Like
there was nothing in that house worth stealing.
Well, but I mean, specifically quilts, like, they come from different fabrics of clothing that has been worn out.
I assume you guys are doing this while walking toward the gas station or the local, where they have like a payphone on the side.
You can tell a lot about a person by their quilt.
I never had a quilt.
Well, you did for about 5 minutes, right?
It was nice too. It felt nice, but you know what? I don't need it. It's going to weigh me down.
All right, so now we get to that phone booth. We get that great big phone book with the big black cover.
We're looking for a car, right?
Yes,
Yes,
I would assume so.
We're at this gas station. What is What are the cars that I can see? Is there a Firebird? Please tell me there's a Firebird.
Jesus.
There's always a Firebird. It's 1978.
In the area that you're at, unfortunately, no. There's just a lot of like
Station wagons.
60s cars, yeah, and some newer station wagons, some big like boats of a car that are. Seems to be a very family centered area. And
Probably a Volvo floating around there somewhere.
oh yeah, and as the as you kind of are just standing around on the corner, looking at the phone book, trying to figure out who you want to call, you observe families coming by, especially a lot of Jewish families, and Jewish families that are large, that have 6 to 7 children
Right.
apiece, that are all walking together down the street, in relatively conservative clothing. The moms are wearing turtlenecks and their hair's all pulled back. The dads, some of them are Hasidic, some of them are just kind of conservative.
Is there anybody around who's particularly young and dumb?
The gas station attendant is kind of stupid looking. He's probably a teenager. He's probably 16, maybe.
Does he have a car?
You'd have to ask him.
He got there somehow.
That's true. I saunter over and I'm like, hey, honey.
This kid looks up at you. He has pimples and big Coke bottle glasses, and he's like, hello, ma'am. Can I help you get gas?
No, honey. I want to know more about you.
And his eyes get huge, and he's like, I don't know what I can tell you. What do you need to know?
You probably know a lot about cars, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. I work on cars here. And he kind of awkwardly, with a shaking hand, gestures at the garage that's behind him, that is also part of the gas station.
Which one of these beauties is yours?
That one. And he points at a random car that he's not actually even looking at, which happens to be a station wagon.
You got the keys for that beauty? I want to see it.
I'm not supposed to walk away from my post during work hours.
Oh, come on, honey, live a little.
And his hands kind of start to shake. He's like, okay, that's not my car. My dad dropped me off for my shift earlier today.
Okay, bye.
But we can still talk.
I don't even respond.
She just walks off. Brilliant.
Meanwhile, I have a phone and I'm telling Sophie, go get her, low profile, go get her. She's gonna make that poor boy make his pants crunchy. Go get her. Yes, we are at the Texaco on. If you could come, pick us up, and yes, thank you.
You call a taxi. They come by pretty quickly, especially around this time of day with a lot of people potentially coming home from work in Chicago. There are a couple of taxis that do come out to this area. So you're able to get a taxi pretty quickly. And if you would like, you can go to the second house.
Sounds like a plan.
What time of day is it by now?
So at this point, it's probably...
You said people coming home, so it's probably like 5
o'clock-ish.
5:30.
Yeah. So you guys probably spent about 2 hours in the last house and talking to the other people.
So check out the other house and then check into a hotel.
Sounds
Ladies.
like a plan. Let's go see what happened with Gerald first.
All right. We're going to Jerry's.
Cool. So Gerald Beekman is located at 3612 Thayer Street. It's near a big park and a cemetery as well. It's a pretty nice area. Pretty similar to everything that you guys had seen before. As you roll up to the house, the taxi drops you off. You can definitely see much more recent police activity here. There are the house isn't cordoned off anymore, but the police tape is actually still up in portions along the trees and along the front of the house and things like that.
Well, it's only been about 3 days, right?
Correct. It was 3 days ago that this person was killed.
Okay. Anybody wandering outside?
Not in this neighborhood, not right now. It seems like a lot of people are coming home, but they're coming home and they seem to go like right into their houses. Not in a like, oh no, this is a dangerous neighborhood, but more in a like, I have important things to do in my house with my housewife and my children.
Dinner time.
Yes. I have to go
Um,
home and smoke my pipe and eat dinner that my wife cooked for me today.
is
But
there
like you said, I'm
anything?
sure this is an expensive neighborhood,
Because it's meatloaf casserole night.
Mm, Russell
All the
Stoker,
casseroles.
baby.
Because that's what I was going to say. If there's anybody outside catching before we go in, because they'll
Yeah.
probably get sucked into dinner. But all right, so we're here. So
Can I just case the neighborhood real quick? Just see what I can see, like kinds of houses, types of cars. What am I looking at in terms of like
should we do a
socioeconomic,
search for the drive-in?
demographical info?
Yes, you can look at the neighborhood. Darla, what did you need to do?
I said, should we do an alertness for the ride-in?
It's not necessary. You guys are still kind of in. It's a mixed area. It is mostly white folks and Jewish people, pretty much across the board here. Yeah, and the further you go into different areas, there are some pockets that are specifically Jewish. Like there are places around the synagogues where you see people that in traditional Hasidic wear, things like that. But today is a Thursday, I believe we determined June 1st. So there's not like any particular services going on at the moment. There's one synagogue that advertises Talmud studies after like 7 p.m. There's a bowling alley that you pass. Other than that, not much. Candy, do you want to just sort of walk down the street, or do you want to try to do this stealthily? How do you want to proceed to actually just walk around this neighborhood?
Oh, I was just in the car. I want to
Okay.
get to the house as soon as possible.
So in the car on the way there, once you kind of turn onto Thayer Street, it's a residential area. It's near the big cemeteries and a big park. So there are a couple of kids that are outside playing ball, just catch, things like that, but no big deal. There are the houses are pretty nice, not necessarily completely upscale, but like people in this area seem to have newer stuff, like newer cars, probably 5 or 10-year-old cars at most. Nice houses. Everyone has a really nicely mown lawn. People have really nice hedges. It's very, very pretty. Like you're walking through the set of Halloween from 1978. So everyone
Heard.
has their very like nice sort of ordered lives, ordered
Happy
lawns.
field.
But the houses are still pretty small. So, when you pull up to this house, it's very similarly laid out. It's the same kind of ranch style house up at the top. This one has a longer driveway. It's kind of up on a hill. But other than that, same sort of basic layout. It still has a carport instead of an actual garage.
Pushkin has a lot to say about that.
Great. Cool. So what would you like to do? You are now at Gerald Beekman's house. He was killed 3 days ago.
I walk up to the front door and try to enter.
Okay. Are we trying any criminal enterprises or anything like that?
I just want to check to see if it's open and if there is a key that I can find, similar to how we did it the first time.
Okay. Yeah, roll me the criminal search again. Darla, Sophie, is there anything that you two want to look at?
Well, first, I want to see whether or not she can get into this house.
Okay.
But I am looking to see if there is a garage on the property.
There isn't. It's a longer driveway, but still no garage. There's like a carport, and then it has stairs leading to a side access.
Okay.
I succeed.
Okay, cool. Darla, is there anything that you wanted to look at before Candy
Just
gets
doing
in?
my usual sweep, looking under the windows, around trees, anything out of the ordinary, anything that looks like it's been recently changed, covered up, niced up, broken around the door jam.
Sure. You can roll me a search roll for that, actually, just because you're actually looking around the property at the front.
Ooh, 14.
Ooh, okay. So we'll do Darla first real quick. So yeah, you are completing a search of the property. There doesn't seem to be anything really new or interesting. Actually, compared to the last house, it looks like this house got set up and then just kind of left. Like you could tell that the paint on the porch is sort of like, not a porch, more like a little square,
Yeah.
concrete square out in front of everything.
Door frame.
Yeah. The things are a little bit less well kept. The bushes are getting a little big. The lawn is getting a little long. It's still been trimmed relatively recently, but it's getting a little long. The mailbox paint isn't super nice compared to the previous house. Like it looked like the Haberfelds put a lot of work into their house to make it look really, really nice. The Beekman residence does not appear the same. And Candy, with your success, you are looking around for a key. You turn the knob and it is clearly locked. There is no welcome sign at this doorway. But you look around long enough and you see underneath one of the bushes is a rock that clearly isn't a rock. But you know what you're looking for, and you're kind of impressed that this rock is a little bit better hidden than a lot of the other stuff that you've encountered before.
Is it a pet rock?
It's not a pet rock. It's still a hide rock, but it is it's in an area that it doesn't seem to be completely out of place. There are other rocks that are sort of sticking up in varying portions of the mulch that was clearly put down under the general hedge bushes. So it doesn't look really weird, but Candy knows what to look for.
I go in the house.
Okay. So the three of you go in, and in a very similar layout, pretty much kind of the exact same sort of cookie cutter layout. This might have been done by the same development. You are walking into a sort of formal living room, and then off to your left is a dining room. Toward the right is the master bed. You have a kitchen and den, bath, second bedroom, etc. So this is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house as well. It's much more Spartan. The walls are sort of white. There's some nice moldings, but compared to the Haberfeld house, this place is not really decorated. There's pieces of furniture, but they don't look near as nice. Like in the main living room as you walk in, there's a couch, but clearly that's a couch that's made secondhand. There's a table, but it's got scratches all over it. And there's some what looks to be bills sort of scattered on the formal dining room table.
I also take my shoes off again.
Ooh, okay. There's like a table when you first enter that has a pile of mail on it. Mostly nondescript things that are all addressed to Mr. Gerald Beekman. But a couple of bills. None of them have a past due notice on them. But everything just looks pretty boring in here.
Well, that's interesting. You're saying that things are sort of worn down here. And this gentleman, as far as I know, he was a theoretical physicist.
Correct.
For a large corporation.
Mm-hmm.
I would have expected it to be the other way around. Because he should be making a good salary. So what was our dear friend Gerald involved with that he's buying things secondhand or making do until they're wearing out? Or was he just a cheapskate?
Did he have a family, wife, kids?
Based in the documents that you have, he was not married.
There you go.
He had no children.
Yeah.
And he was in his 60s, mid 60s.
Confirmed bachelor versus bored housewife. Not bored. Hobby.
I would like to also do the same thing and just kind of search for documents.
Sure. Is there do you want to look in a particular area? Do you want to check the stuff on the table? Do you want to is there anything that you're looking for area you're looking at first?
Yeah, I'm just gonna check the stuff on the table, and then I want to maybe check the second bedroom, see if that was his office.
Sure. Okay, so just when you guys first come in, because the dining room and the living room are connected, Candy goes over to the dining room table, and there's just a bunch of bills sort of laid out there. It's just a bunch of information. Like, it's pretty standard stuff. There's an electric bill. There's a note for a car, which was not in the driveway. There is a mortgage payment. It's all just sort of laid out, not in a very fastidious way, but definitely with a, like, here's all of my work that I need to take care of kind of situation. And they're all addressed to Gerald Beekman. None of them are older than, a month. So at least from this initial investigation, you're not seeing anything unusual.
Okay, I go to the second bedroom.
Cool. All right. So Candy's going to the second bedroom. Dr. Sophie, where would you like to go?
I'm going to be looking to see, this is a man of intelligence and education. He should have some sort of a library here. I'm going to be looking exactly as I did in the last house to see what he has here that's going to tell us a little something about him and his personality.
Is there a particular area you think you'd want to try to look for that?
I'm thinking he's probably going to use a den as a library if he has one.
Okay.
So I'm going to head towards the den.
So you're going toward the den. And Ms. Darla, what are you planning on doing?
Have we already looked at the spot where they found his body?
No, that was also in the den.
Okay. Yeah, first stop, I want to see where they found the body. Second stop, basement.
Okay. Cool. So we'll deal with Candy first. So Candy, you head towards the right, towards the second bedroom and the master. When you go into the second bedroom, it is just full of boxes. There seems to be boxes of all shapes and sizes. They're all labeled. They have different things in them, but it's stuff like sports memorabilia or a box of papers, clearly old taxes from the 1960s. There is a box of just clothing for no apparent reason. Some of it looks like it didn't get washed. There's just a bunch of boxes in that room. Nothing specifically distinct.
If I search through the papers, do I find anything interesting in there or of note?
Let me think. If you would have anything in particular, you can roll your criminology for that, just to see if you're looking for anything specific.
Yep. Oh, critical success.
Woohoo. Yeah, so you look through the paperwork. This guy was squirreling away his money based on the information that you have from taxes. He looks like he's not spending a whole lot. There are some weird transfers with strange numbers attached, but nothing that specifically says where those could have gone or what they were doing. And based on the tax information that you have, like, he didn't live an extravagant lifestyle.
Right. I want to pocket the one with the weird transactions.
Sure.
Just to keep that number just in case.
Yeah.
And I want to move on to the bedroom.
Cool. Okay, so you can head toward the main bedroom. Ms. Darla and Dr. Sophie. So you guys head toward the kitchen and then into the den. And as you come in, you are greeted with a not pleasant sight. This is clearly no cleaning company has come here yet. So not only is the kitchen's kind of disgusting. There's a lot of unwashed dishes in the sink, things like that. But in addition, there is clearly the sign of a murder in the house. There is a big blood stain on the den floor. There is seemingly cast off spatter on the back of the wall where this person was clearly shot. There is a bullet hole that is lodged in the wall. I would like both of you to make a sanity roll to witnessing a murder scene.
$77,
Okay, what is your sanity?
$65.
Oh, that is a critical failure. Fun. Okay, Darla.
50.
Okay, what's
My
yours?
my sanity points are 45.
Okay. So you both failed that, unfortunately. So you will both take 1 point of sanity damage. Dr. Sophie, this is not what you signed on for. You knew that Delta Green was going to be kind of rough, but you weren't expecting to walk into not a fresh murder scene, but a smelly 3-day-old murder scene. That clearly has been investigated to an extent, but it's just disturbing and gross, and this is not what you deal with. Darla, you're pretty prepared for situations like this. However, for whatever reason, walking into this scene of a man being shot in his own home, who's a single person, lives alone, has, as you've walked in, has no apparent connections to communities or anything like that. It kind of triggers a memory for you of a friend of yours who was in the CIA, who was murdered the same way by the Soviets at some point, was execution style. And you have a hard time kind of shaking that off. So there you go.
So-
1 point of sanity damage.
So, but that's 1 point down, right? So it
Yes,
was
just
45
1
down.
point minus from where you were initially.
Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
just
And that will be, for the time being, your sanity value until you hit a breaking point. So you started at, I think that's right. Yeah, if you started at 45 and then your current is like 44, then you need, I'll double check the rules on that, but I think you need to roll under the current value in order to continue to succeed. It's just something to keep in mind.
makes sense.
Cool. All right, we will pivot briefly back to Candy, who has now moved into the master bedroom.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look for false walls, a safe maybe, false bottoms to drawers, under the mattress, wherever I could possibly find some interesting stuff.
Okay. So with your criminology, you search around everywhere. You don't notice anything except there is a set of keys that is on, it's not on the dresser, but it's kind of in the back section of a dresser, in their underwear drawer.
Cool.
It's got like 2 keys. They look identical. But other than that, you don't seem to find anything else. No extra documents like you did in the other place. No, no family heirlooms in here. No, nice quilts. It is a very Spartan bedroom with a very basic dresser and a very basic chest of drawers and a very basic lamp next to a very basic bed.
These keys, can I, some keys, do they look like house keys, car keys? Do they look like safe keys? Do they look like lock keys?
They look like they would belong to a lock of some kind.
Great.
Maybe like a big master lock or a deadbolt of some kind.
Great. I want to find where these keys go to.
Darla and Sophie, can you both roll me an alertness roll?
16.
What, you got a 1?
I got a 1.
Nice. Okay. So after the initial sort of nausea passes of walking into a murder scene and just kind of dealing with that for a moment, both of you notice that although the previous house had a very similar layout, this house, the den, is probably 3/4 the size of the previous den. It looks like the paneled wall at the back and the fireplace are kind of moved forward. And looking at the fireplace, you can see that it clearly hasn't been used ever.
Well, that's just strange. We're sitting here in the middle of God's country, and it gets cold in God's country in the winter, and you're going to tell me that this man never used his fireplace?
Guys like this, who knows how often he was home at all? Probably long hours in the office, nothing to come home to.
Yeah, it still seems kind of strange. I mean, given his penny pinching ways, you would think he would light a fire rather than turning on his heat.
Yeah, you'd think. So I'm looking around the wall, seeing, well, splatter, but just making sure that it's just blood and nothing else has been mixed in or human blood.
Yeah. Darla, why don't you roll me? Do you have like not a criminology? You don't have forensics either.
I don't.
You can roll a search skill, or I mean, you could try survival if you would like to see if there's something potentially hidden around here. Candy, would you like to rejoin everybody in this main room?
Sure.
Okay. You will also need to make a sanity roll as you walk into a murder scene.
I was about to say, if I hear her coming, I'm gonna kind of like call out, like, "Hey, it's hella gross in here. Heads up."
Ah, I survived.
Yay! So, with Darla's warning, you kind of brace yourself for a second, and you walk in, and it's awful. I mean, it's gross. It smells bad. It smells like death. But you've been in some really, really terrible hotel rooms, and potentially around some other dead bodies for other reasons. So, while
I've also been in jail, so
yeah, while this is very disturbing, it doesn't strike you the same way that it struck the other ladies. That could be kind of your aloof attitude, or that could be that you've encountered things that they haven't. But I will say that the ladies warning you does definitely help your cause.
cool.
Yeah, Candy, do you want to try to search? Dr. Sophie, do you want to try to search for stuff?
Do I notice the same difference?
Yeah, I can assume that you probably notice the same difference, or that they would point it out to you.
What I'd like to know is, can we tell, does it look as if it should be bigger from the outside?
If you hadn't been in another house that had the identical layout, you probably wouldn't have noticed. The carpet goes directly up to the wall. The fireplace looks pretty nice. It's just never been used. It's a nice brick fireplace that someone clearly laid. For all intents and purposes, this looks the way it should. But all three of you having been in the previous house, you know that this is a couple of feet shorter than it should be.
I rolled a 17.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start feeling around this sparkling clean fireplace and see if anything moves.
Okay. Candy, you were doing a
I want to like
knock
on the
wall.
walls.
Okay. So Darla, you are checking the fireplace. You could tell that it's not connected to anything. There's no flue. While the brick goes all the way up the wall, it's not seemingly connected to anything. But you don't find any false panels or anything like that. Candy, as you start to sort of shift around to different places, you find in the paneling on the far side of the wall on the left, kind of unfortunately, where Carl Hager / Henry Haberfeld met his untimely end, that there's a panel that can kind of slide over, and you find a latch that has a master lock through it.
Looky what I found. It's a thingy. And guess what? I got keys.
Well, that's
Handy.
convenient. I'm gonna put my bobby pin back in my hair if you have a key.
Oh, honey, you don't need that. I got a lockpick set. So I do the thing and
Yep.
does it work? Great.
Yep, you pull down the lock, which releases the catch, and you can push on the wall, and a section of wall that is about 3 feet wide swings open on hidden hinges inside of the wall.
I step back.
I draw out my gun from my purse.
I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do the same. I've got my Beretta with me.
Ooh.
Well, fine. If we're
Southern
doing
girl.
this, then I pull out my 22 revolver.
Going actual Charlie's Angels on this. This is fun. Awesome. So the three of you square up with your guns and draw down on this secret door. Yes, dramatic pose, says Tommy Abbott. Dramatic pose. Dun, dun, dun. Yes. That's the
I have
screenshot
one
for the
gun.
show right there.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
With the disinterested pit bull in the background.
Yes. And you open the wall. Oh, kitty. Everybody's got pants.
I will
Who-
step in first.
Okay, I was gonna say who walks in first.
Not me.
So Darla goes in first, followed by
I'm going to go ahead and slip in after Darla.
cool. Okay, Darla goes in first, followed by Dr. Sophie McCoy, and then Candy follows up at the end. You walk into initially a darkened room, but it has a light switch on the right-hand side. So as you kind of walk around the wall, you click on the light, and you are greeted with a room full of Nazi memorabilia.
Oh,
And we're talking full of Nazi memorabilia, like a giant eagle on the opposite wall where the original fireplace is. There is all kinds of pictures and information all over the walls. There's a bookshelf full of books that are written in German. There are a number of pictures and iconography. There are a few uniforms that are put into boxes that are clearly meant to preserve them.
well,
I'm just gonna, you know, I felt bad for this guy like 2 minutes ago. I'm glad he's dead.
our handsome friend there who greeted us at the airport was worried about the Ruskies, but I don't think that's who we have to worry about here.
They're in cahoots. They're always in cahoots.
This
There's
is
some-
just not cool, man.
So what do you guys want to do now that you are in this secret room full of Nazi stuff?
I'm sure all of us, our
Kinda.
skin is just crawling. Well, I'm going to go ahead and look around to see if there's anything in here that'll reference either our last dearly departed or this current. I'm going to use the word gentleman very loosely now, or this gentleman.
Okay.
I'm going to call him a piece of shit.
Fair.
I kind of want to set fire. I'm gonna go-
Right?
Not yet.
Like,
I got my
mean,
Zippo. Let's do it.
Let's get the information we need first.
information first. But like, you know, here's the thing. Like fire, I kind of.
I'm not going to say no to that, but let's get
Kinda
what we
no to
need
fire.
first before the pyromaniac tendencies take over.
We might go a little bit over as the search concludes, just so everyone watching at home knows what's going on. So Sophie, you are looking for anything in particular?
I'm essentially looking for anything that's going to tie Gerald, if that's really his name, or Carl to this.
Okay. Darla, are you, other than threatening to burn the place down and discussing how to do it with Candy, is there anything that you are doing or looking for as you approach this room?
Yeah, just like I want to look for a secret passage in a secret passage, but honestly, like we're just tits up with Nazi stuff, so I can't imagine what they would hide in this sort of room. Like what you would walk into this room and go, "Oh no, I don't want them to see this." Um, but I'm gonna paw through some drawers anyway. I'm going to take the metal that's in my purse out and try to like kind of like eyeball compare it to the horrors that surround us. See if that matches up to anything. And I'm breaking the seal on the uniforms and spitting on them just because.
Oh, that's fun.
Wait,
cool.
do we know about DNA in the 70s?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, yeah, I'm spitting on
That
it,
doesn't
so.
really happen until the 90s.
I want to kind of do the same thing, but I'm looking for, again, documents. I'm looking for plans. Maybe like, looking for something that maybe alludes to the work that he was doing. And after Miss Day spits on the uniforms, I want to go through his pockets.
Good call.
Cool. Okay. So we will start with Sophie McCoy. Sophie McCoy, you are Dr. Sophie. You are pawing through his papers and stuff. Roll me a search roll.
All right. Oh, it is. Oh, never mind. It's a 90.
Oh, you thought it was a 9. Aw.
I did.
9?
I thought it was a 60, but it's upside down.
Okay. So you are pawing through his papers. There's a bunch of information here. It's all in German, and unfortunately, you don't read it.
Not a language I want to talk. I want to speak right now.
But there is a bunch of just being a physicist, you can see through all of the stuff. There's calculations, there's numbers, there's all kinds of documents with basic calculations and stuff. Nothing that you can see specifically that would lead to something, but probably related to rocketry, rockets, rocket science, things like that. Darla, you said, well, okay, you spit on the uniform, you pop the boxes and spit on the uniform. Based on your CIA experience, this is an authentic uniform. It is potentially a uniform that was worn by the person who used to live in this house. And where else did you say you were going to look for stuff?
Just generally like opening drawers, kind of pawing through dressers.
So Dr. Sophie's checking through files and stuff. You're kind of just looking at the desk. Roll me a search roll.
I also 60 in military science. Is that the only thing?
Yeah. Feel free. You can throw down your military science here.
I feel like we pretty much know what their military situation was. 79. All right. So it's not so much. Should I roll again for search?
Yeah, feel free to roll to search as well. With your military science, you can tell that this is nothing either. Okay. You're so disgusted by everything that's going on in here right now. It is very, very horrible and frustrating. Especially you as a CIA operative that you fought against the Germans, specifically the Nazis, for so long. It's just kind of getting up your ire. You're having a hard time seeing the forest for the trees. The uniform is authentic. It looks like it was related to a science program. It has the same kind of metal that the last person had, which has an eagle on it. You can't tell what it is specifically, other than clearly this is also a Nazi medal.
I'm going to take the medal.
Okay.
I'm going to keep both of them.
Candy, you were very excited and you were searching for stuff. What did you want?
Before I ask about my searching, does anybody have a high occult? Because the Nazis were into some occult shit.
That they were.
I don't have a high. I have a 30 in occult.
Higher than me.
Yeah, I didn't take any occult.
Yeah, you didn't either. Okay.
If a horse comes in and someone needs to ride it, I'm your girl.
Heavy
Or a
weapons.
motor.
Horse riding. Brilliant.
Or a tank. If,
yeah,
if a horse on a motorcycle comes in with a tank, I got this.
Sophie, feel free to roll an occult skill while
Use
Candy is
your
doing that
help.
stuff.
Use your
Yeah,
help.
you do
Yes,
have
I'm
help.
going
I
to
think
use
we were
my
at,
help. Definitely. Thank you for the reminder,
like 2, 1, and
Candy.
1, or 1, 2, and 1.
Ooh.
I don't need to use my help, but I'm glad I use it anyhow. How about a 16?
Ooh,
Get there, girl.
16 for the occult. Cool. Looking around here, you see some like odd stuff, but nothing that is you would specifically relate to German occult things. The more you look into his theoretical physicist stuff, the more the theoretical portion of the physicist comes out. There are some calculations here that they're not impossible, but it's weird that he's making these calculations. Like, it's weird that there's like notes on things like particle physics and light travel and there's some weird calculations here, not non-Euclidean geometry, thank God. But there's some weird stuff here. Whew. Okay, Candy.
All right.
So I was looking around for documents, anything that I can recognize as significant, and I'm gonna go through the pockets.
Okay. Roll whatever you think would be your search. You could also roll a criminology here.
Let's keep doing that because it's like my highest stat. So.
It's been working really well for you too. This person clearly knew how to hide some stuff.
69.
Oh, that is a house level critical success. Thank you. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So as you are going through stuff, you're checking in the pockets. There doesn't seem to be anything in here. This uniform at some point was probably dry cleaned. So someone dry cleaned this thing and made it look real nice before they put it in a box.
Is there a dry cleaning tag?
No, you don't see one.
Right.
Just from your knowledge of high-end textiles, clearly somebody dry cleaned this thing. It's real wool. It's very nice. Okay. It has the hat and everything. There is another picture. It's the same picture that you saw or that one of you saw in the previous house. But this one has some writing on it. That's underneath the picture. It says, where is that? Gerd Karl Eric, 1943, Peenemüde. And I can write all that out for you. It looks real wild when you write it out. It's fun. So let's do Gerd. There was a reason why I chose that word. I just think it looked funny. Peenemüde. And you, now that you've seen the papers, you find papers that are naturalization papers for this person as well. But these ones are written in German. This person's name was Gerd de Beek.
Gerd de Beek.
Yes. And he is.
See why he changed it.
And looking at the photo, you can definitely now recognize that although the person that was on your dossier, the photo of the person that was on your dossier looked very different. Now you can start to make some basic resemblances of, yes, this person came to the United States. This is an old photo of them, but clearly they were trying to disguise their appearance.
Cool.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else with your Super 69. Yeah, as you go through a bunch of the papers and things like that, in a drawer of a sort of desk that's like one of those roll top desks. Not a drawer. No, as you pull up the roll top, there is a Rolodex. And as you flip through the Rolodex, you find Carl Hager's information. It is correct. It is his actual naturalized name. and his actual address that you just were at.
I take the Rolodex.
Okay.
Should have kept that bag.
I got big pockets. This coat.
Oh, and one more thing. Sorry, I looking through my notes, I've missed this. You find an appointment book, and it lists. You can't really read the German. It's in German, but it says Gerd something and Erich, E-R-I-C-H, the same name that's on the photograph. 3 p.m. and it's dated last Monday, probably when he would have been killed.
Ooh. I flipped to the Rolodex. Can I find Eric's name?
There is an Erich Neubert, Neubert, that is located at 8230 North Kildare Avenue.
Right.
All right, and we are close to ending the session here. You guys were fiddling around with lighters, and you were given permission by your MI6 contact to destroy all cognitive hazards. But what I need you to do is tell me how, if you're going to burn down the house, how you're going to burn down the house, and how you're going to get away with it so that no one notices you leaving the house. Or if they notice leaving the house, then okay, you're walking out of an arson scene. But you tell me how you're doing this, and then we'll end it there.
So I was going to do a quick search the rest of the house. Attic, basement, backyard, garage.
Yeah,
area.
going around, everything else is just pretty boring, pretty white bread. There's nothing significant. You found the jackpot in this room. This is where he spent all of his money and all of his time.
All right. I was then going to put it to my partners. We are partners in this endeavor. Your input matters. Someone, this is your chance to talk me out of, because here's the thing, we will be hiding the fact that he has this. So if he has any name in this community, we will be allowing that name to continue, and his neighbors won't know what a piece of shit he was.
Well, he's dead. He was a lonely, sad old man. From what we can see, he had no one, right? Do
Correct.
we care what his neighbors thought? I mean, I'd be fine with sort of, creating a short somewhere in the wire in here and letting it.
Sir David
slowly
Percival's on the
burn.
same level as you.
That's a little weird.
He just suggested that.
Creating a short and letting it start to burn as we're leaving, but leave with plenty of time for us to not be any way, shape, or form connected to it. Do we care about this man's reputation?
That's what I'm asking you.
Consider, too, most of what we are going to burn here will go in the flames, but anything that is metallic, it's going to take a really hot fire to destroy. There's still going to be evidence that he was an asshole.
All right. Well, I was going to get some spray cans out of the carport and put them in the microwave, but I like the electrical idea better.
See, I was going to do a stove with a candle.
That's so classic.
I know.
The problem is that a stove would need someone here to turn it on.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to take my throwing knife skill. I'm going to take this metal awarded to assholes, and I'm going to whip it into the outlet.
I just want
after
to
you
take a
guys
second
leave-
to point out real quick that Dr. Sophie works for General Electric.
Oh, right.
So if there's anyone who is technically a physicist expert at secretly lighting a house on fire,
Light it up,
That's a good
Dr.
idea.
Soap.
just
Yeah, I'm going to ask the ladies to leave for future culpability, and I am going to ninja yeet the Nazi metal into the outlet to short it out, thus up the wall,
Great.
slow burn, fires of hell on earth.
Great. Great.
There we go.
okay. So I would say Candy and Dr. McCoy, I would just need you guys to roll. So tell me what you would roll to exit the house without people noticing.
Let's see here.
First, I get my shoes.
Yes, you get your shoes. You have
you
very
and your
nice
shoes. Oh my
platform shoes. I'm sure.
goodness.
Now, granted, no one necessarily saw you go in because they're all coming home from work. But
Mhm.
if they see you exiting a burning building, that's where issues come up.
Right. It shouldn't burn for a while, but I would say survival.
Okay, roll me a survival. That is totally fine. Candy, do you have? You could potentially roll your criminology again. You've probably snuck out of houses before.
I've got a great stealth, so I'm just
Okay.
gonna sneak
Feel
my
free
way
to
on out.
sneak on out. And Ms. Darla, can you roll me your? I guess this would be. It's not unarmed. I guess it's not hand to hand though. No, I guess it's unarmed. It's unarmed combat. So you would be rolling kind of an unarmed combat skill to effectively yeet a German metal into a outlet and cause it to cause a short.
I also have melee. Would melee? Because I mean, it's
That yeah, okay, that's yeah,
okay.
probably.
Do melee.
Yeah, do melee.
All right, come on, Mama wants to burn some Nazi shit.
Yeah, feel free to use your helps too. You have a whole bunch of helps coming out here.
47.
Nice.
Oh, I
Uh,
succeeded with flying colors.
Yeah,
Candy
my melee
succeeds
is
as
50.
well.
Same here as well. I got a 15.
Nice. Yes. Okay, so Candy, you sort of casually walk out the back door and notice that there are a whole bunch of fences around, and you are pretty easily able to just sneak into someone else's fenced yard, and you hop over a bunch of fences and you make your way around to a different area and head toward a gas station that's not the gas station you were at before. Dr. Sophie, not so much with the super stealthy rolling and stuff, but you are able to you shut off all the lights, make sure that they're all off, and that the door is locked. You put the key back where it was, and kind of make you make a getaway out the side door by the garage.
All right. No one's going to question a woman like me walking through this neighborhood.
Yeah, probably not. Ms. Darla, you are able to it takes a second, but you are able to lodge the one of the medals that you had. I don't know if you want to leave both medals in here or not.
No, I'm keeping the one.
You're keeping the second
Well,
one.
hang on. Were there only those two medals, or were there other medals?
There were only those two. They seem to potentially have been related to some kind of science or merit level thing.
Okay.
These people weren't decorated officers per se.
So it wasn't. It was a display of his stuff, not a collector of whatever he could get his hands on.
Yeah, seemingly everything was probably authentic and was probably his, based on what Candy found in the Rolodex and what Dr. Sophie found in all of the files. This is a guy who was German, who moved here with his Nazi stuff.
And
Oh, before she does that, can I make sure that on my way out that I grab some of those documents as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that you want to grab, especially all the stuff in, you can read the calculations of the theoretical physics, but all of the notes are in German.
Awesome. Well, the calculations are what I'm interested in.
Sure.
In that case.
Yeah,
I
you're going to have
still
to take
have
some
that
more time
Rolodex.
to look at stuff. Yep. Candy has the Rolodex, and you have one of the medals. So, Darla, you are able to sort of wedge the metal into an outlet, and with a swift kick with your practical heels that have rubber on the bottom. You are able to kick it far enough into the outlet that it starts to spark. It's not lit on fire just yet. Oh, you wanted to throw it. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
You can throw
Got
it
my
Batman
throwing-
style. Yeah.
Yeah, got my throwing
Throw it
knife.
into an outlet. And it starts to spark, but it hasn't caught just yet. But as you gather up the metal and anything else you might want to grab, the carpet starts to catch fire in the back portion of that area.
I might knock over a bottle of schnapps on the way out just for good measure, and I'm gonna grab a tab out of the fridge. Should I roll
Don't worry
for
about
stealth?
rolling for that. No, that's fine.
I'm not rolling for tab. I'm rolling for stealth.
Rolling-
Like get out
okay.
of here.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me for stealth to see if you can get out without being observed. Uh-oh. Oh, that face.
Somebody saw me. I got an 86 out of 50.
Oh. So, Ms.
I
Darla,
might be a little proud of myself when I'm leaving.
as you are leaving the house, you hear a kind of like pop sort of noise coming from where you just were with the actually, yeah, you hear a kind of pop noise as you are exiting the building. It's not a loud noise, but it's definitely a sort of popping noise. And as you are exiting the building, another pop occurs, and you realize there may have been live ammunition in the room that you were just in. And as you are exiting, while the sounds of ricocheting bullets start to come out of the house, there are neighbors who are starting to open their blinds across the street. You see somebody as you're exiting that kind of pushes aside their fancy curtains and is looking outside. They probably saw you, but there's no guarantee that they could have observed exactly what you looked like or anything like that. And we will leave it there as the ammunition goes up in flames in the house of the Nazi theoretical physicist.
Yeah.
That was fun. That wasn't as far as I was hoping we would get, but I like where we are. So cool. Thank you guys so much for playing as we go a little bit further into the night. Real quick, just feel free to introduce yourselves. Candy, why don't you tell us your real name and what you do, and if there's anything you want to tell people about.
Hi, I'm Katie Hauser. I am a member of Chase Treasure, and that's me.
Yay! Dr. Sophie McCoy, introduce yourself and what you're up to.
Hi, I'm Dana Mishike, and I perform at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, getting ready for auditions. If anyone's interested, let me know.
Ooh, there we go. And finally, Ms. Darla Day, please feel free to introduce yourself and promote anything you like.
I'm just happy I got to blow something up the first night.
Demolitions expert.
I told
Sets
ya.
off
Like,
the ammunition in the house. Good for you.
we're gonna blow up so much stuff. My name's Katie Bourbon. I work at the New Jersey Renaissance Fair. Hope to see everyone there this season. I'm in a murder mystery. It's gonna be the first showing is February 11th out by the Jersey Shore. It's going to be in brick. I will bring you more information as I actually write it down for next time.
Yay! Super cool. Yeah, that was the one part I forgot before we got started. And thank you guys so much. I'm Handler Z. My name is Melissa L.E. Baker. I wrote a book. It's called Dare. You can find it online. I am also part of Chase Treasure. We have a Patreon. I also do a Patreon for myself called Quill and Quote, which Tommy Abbott is about to just assault your information with. And the biggest thing that I'm dealing with right now, just on a personal note, is that my cat died, and she was not a sweet cat, let's be clear. But that's kind of the charm of her, was that she was one of those cats that you would pet her, and then after 4 pets, she would be like, no. She was never confused. She knew exactly what she wanted. But the unfortunate thing is that after she passed, I am still left with a $2,500 vet bill. It's actually $2,000 worth of vet bills and then $500 worth of funerary costs. So if anybody can donate, find me on Facebook at Melissa Baker, and I have a GoFundMe up there to help do the final costs for that. And I'm sure you will find a bunch of people sharing it throughout the community. That's just the thing that I don't normally ask for stuff like that, but this was she was 6.5 years old. This wasn't expected. And this is just to kind of deal with the final costs of a really wonderful cat raging against the dying of the light. So thank you all so much for your support and awesomeness. We will see you next week, where we will probably be encountering Eric Newbert. And
I already don't like him.
and all of the crazy stuff. So until we see you again, thank you so much for joining us at Gothic Horror
Thank you.
Gaming and Delta Green. Have a wonderful night and enjoy the 70s. Bye.
Bye.